I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. First, there are some issues with video and audio alignment in some of these clips. I did the best I could, but some of them may get a little weird.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
That's putting it mildly. When I saw the title, I said, really? A mummy story? Why? But if anybody can pull it off well, it's Team Irwin. Let's see if they do.
Go ahead, Lee. I'll be right with you. Right. One last reminder. Ship will be gone no more than an hour, and don't surface for any reason during that time. It's vital that our presence in New York is not known.
He and Captain Crane are heading for a pier somewhere to do something. Very hush-hush. So, everybody hush now. We don't want to blow the mission.
Do you think anyone saw us bringing it aboard?
You better pray that they didn't.
One of the curators at the museum said that the body in there is over 3,000 years old.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, secure this, will you?
Still waiting for an explanation, gentlemen.
What's the matter?
Nothing, I'm fine.
And we can keep waiting. Remember that little woozy spell, because a running subtext in this episode is Captain Crane thinking he gonna be the rough, tough man who don't need no help with nothing. I'll talk more about that as we go along. That takes care of our cold open. They're ready to head back to the Seaview.
Lee.
Okay, one of them is ready to head back to the Seaview. Some smelling salts bring him around, and he has no idea what happened. We do, but spoiler, he won't figure it out until the very last scene. And even then, Nelson more or less has to explain it to him. Aboard the Seaview, Nelson orders him straight to sickbay while a detail stores the sarcophagus, and Chip gets us moving.
Yes, Doc, how is he?
Physically, he's in excellent shape, but there is some indication of a nervous disorder. Nothing serious, but rest is definitely indicated.
You're sure about that? There's nothing serious?
Yes, quite sure. But I do recommend that he go to bed at once and that tomorrow he be placed on light duty.
Admiral, I feel great. I'm perfectly fit for duty.
And here we go. I'm a man. I can handle it. So I fainted like a Southern belle at a Chippendale show. So what?
Lee, listen to me. Doc is here to make exactly those decisions now. Suppose we let him do his job.
All right, sir. I'll go to my cabin and I'll hit the sack right now.
If you want to avoid a spanking, you'll do just that. Nelson has some secret orders that he was supposed to share with Captain Crane at this point, but with him incapacitated, Mr. Morton is in charge of the boat, so he gets to read them. The first question, why is this mission so important? Well, it has to do with peace in the Middle East. Sorry, I inhaled a piece of improbability.
Well, if you've been following the news, you know that there's a great deal of unrest in the Middle East. It might erupt into shooting war at any moment.
How prophetic can you get? This aired in February 1967. The Six-Day War erupted in June 1967. My question, when is there not a shooting war of some kind going on over there? For my money, there's only one way to end all of it, but it's a very unpopular opinion.
The mission has something to do with the box you and the skipper brought aboard from New York. It has everything to do with it. The box, as you call it, is a national treasure belonging to one of the countries involved in this crisis.
Well, if it's a national treasure of the Middle East, how did it get to New York?
Well, it was discovered by American archaeologists about 70 years ago and brought to a museum in New York.
In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, most every archaeologist from every country believed they had to save these treasures from the ignorant locals who didn't know what to do with them. Today, it's very chic to castigate the British Museum for all the stuff they looted from other countries. The United States was no better. Our big museums are loaded with similar stuff, equally taken without permission.
But when a new government took over, they started a crusade to recover their national treasures. And the mummy is one of them. Right.
Aside from the fact that it's pretty obvious, in 1967, the country with that gripe would have been Egypt, or more precisely, the United Arab Republic. Egypt's President Nasser had grand visions of a totally united Arab world, every Arab nation in the region banded together for a common cause. He got Syria on board, and that was it. And even that union was tenuous and finally fell apart in 1971. But he believed that a lot more land belonged to Egypt than what he had. Specifically, all that land up there around Jerusalem and beyond. 4 months after this episode, he said it a little too loudly, Israel kicked his donkey and occupied the Sinai Peninsula. Needless to say, that didn't look much like his glorious vision. He should have stuck to retrieving mummies.
A state feels if it can be returned at exactly the right moment, it might help to prevent the war.
And when is exactly the right time?
When the cabinet meets in emergency session in about 70 hours.
Why all the secrecy, sir?
Because there are factions that would like to provoke the war. They would do anything within their power to prevent us from delivering this cargo.
Do they know we have it aboard?
That's the big question.
How deep do the tendrils go? Nobody's sure, but if they do know about this, we can expect trouble soon.
I'm depending on you to deliver this cargo and deliver it on time. That's all.
Sir.
No pressure, but the fate of humanity is on your shoulders. In the room where the mummy is stored, something is happening. Yes, something is happening. Mr. Morton is checking to make sure it's secure before he goes off duty. The episode is loaded with fake outs like that, and it's all filler. The mummy gets out of his case and starts exploring. This is one remarkable mummy. I mean, besides the whole walking while dead thing. It died 3,000 years ago, but it knows how to open a nautical hatch. It died 3,000 years ago, but it knows what electricity is and how a switch works. As I said, one remarkable mummy. He's kept up with technology from his museum exhibit.
What'd you do, blow a fuse or something?
No, they're all right.
He beats those guys senseless, waves his hand over them and wipes their memories, and moves on. Its next stop is Captain Crane's place. The captain wakes up and tries to shoot it with no effect. Admiral Nelson hears the shooting and comes a-running.
Lee, what is it?
I don't know.
What happened? Doc. What's he shooting at?
I don't know. No sign of any intruder.
Yes. All right. Easy. Oh. That dizziness again.
Who are you firing at?
Firing.
It's nearly a full clip fired.
I don't remember firing a shot.
The questions in my mind are, who or what woke this thing up, and why? What does it want?
Better get back into bed.
No, I'm all right now.
Sure, you're fine. Why don't you just lie down?
Come on, Skipper, off your feet.
The history of humanity is a history of war and inhumanity. For all of that history, men have been the dominant force. And macho dudes like this one are the reason the history of men's dominance is a history of war and killing. From the very first guy who stood up, pounded his chest and said, "Me man, me make stick," to the self-appointed alpha males on social media today, guys have made life one big competition. Guys, we have had our chance for 11,000 years and we have screwed it up from start to finish. It's time to stand down and see what women can do. If you're one of those guys who discovers that doing that makes your gonads fall off, so be it. You shouldn't be reproducing anyway. Fortunately, Rough Tough Captain isn't so rough tough with 3 guys telling him, "Down, boy." The doctor still says he just needs a good night's sleep. It's a good thing I speak medicalese. He just needs a good night's sleep, translated into English, is maybe by then I'll figure out what's wrong with him. Next thing we know, an officer without a head is entering the circuitry room. We'll learn that he changed their course and put them way behind schedule. Gosh-a-Rudy, I wonder who it is.
Who can it be now?
We already know it's Captain Crane under some kind of psychic control. Big mystery, yes sir, Rebob. The real question is, where'd the mummy go? I'm gonna say we found him. His first victim. No, I take that back. His first victim was the flying sub because he knows what it is and how to disable it. One remarkable mummy. In the control room, Kowalski just discovered the discrepancy in their course and reported it to the chief.
Mr. Morton, take a look at this. Well, this is impossible. There must be some error.
Sir, how many times is that computer wrong?
Let me sit down. How did this happen? I don't know, sir, but we've lost a good 10 hours. Our position now is back here.
A check of the circuitry room confirms their suspicion. Someone deliberately made them late. There's a saboteur on board. But as usual, it's worse. Admiral Nelson just got an emergency message from the State Department.
That's all we need. Bad news, sir? Well, the emergency cabinet meeting has been called 12 hours sooner. That means our deadline is 12 hours earlier. 12 hours? Well, there's absolutely no way we can make up that amount of time. No, there's a way. The flying sub.
I wouldn't count on that. Sharky goes to prep it and finds the damage as well as the dead crewman. They don't know how long it'll take to repair the flying sub.
We'll never make that deadline now. No. I agree.
I don't.
What are you doing on your feet?
Well, I was getting a little tired of being useless, Admiral. I thought I could help. Looks like you could use a little.
I'm afraid it's no use, Lee. We're more than 24 hours off schedule, and the flying sub's laid up. There's no way we can make that deadline. He's right, Lee. We can't make it.
I think we can. It'll be close, but there's a chance.
How?
By running at flank speed the rest of the way.
Flank speed is kind of like Moya's starburst in Farscape. It's intended for quick maneuvers, not for sustained travel. That's why it's called flank speed. You kick into overdrive to zip around to the enemy's flank and come at them from their blind side. It's like when you're driving on a hill and you come to a passing lane. You rock down on the pedal to kick into passing gear and go zooming past the slower vehicles. Once you get past them, you ease off to a decent speed. He's saying keep it floored for the next 12 hours or so. Your engine won't take that any more than theirs will, and neither will your wallet after all the tickets you get. Still, he's the captain and he orders flank speed. They explain how the sabotage got them so far off course.
Master at Arms.
Security, aye.
I want armed guards posted at all vital areas in the ship. Maintain around-the-clock details.
Aye, aye, sir.
He already found out that guns are useless, but he doesn't remember it. He goes off wandering the halls, getting woozy again. Kowalski is guarding the sarcophagus room. Under ordinary circumstances, one expects a threat to come from outside the room since there's nobody alive inside the room. He has to check this out. Either somebody stole this thing, or everything he ever saw in old movies is true. Definitely the old movies. By the time others get there, Kowalski is out cold and the mummy is in his case. Meanwhile, back at the good old circuitry room, I hope the captain realizes that striking an enlisted man is a court-martial offense. He doesn't care right now. They really need to put a cover over that stuff. A heavy steel one at least. Surprise, surprise, we're on the bottom again. But it's not all bad news.
The depth is under 500 feet. That means divers can work outside. Now we have every chance in the world of patching up the hull and getting out of here.
They've sent divers out way deeper than that several times. Not that anybody remembers that sort of thing except reviewers with too much time on their hands. Admiral Nelson is checking the damage and the injured crewman when he finds the last thing he expected to find.
Lee! Take care of the captain. There's an injured man in the next corridor and one in the main stores locker. Get them all to sick bay.
The doctor has no explanation. The guard at the circuitry room has a bruise that suggests someone hit him. Kowalski and the captain are both suffering from some kind of shock. But there's good news. The hull is patched and they can surface. Even better, the flying sub is fixed and ready. They might pull this off yet.
no idea all that happened. I was checking the guard details when I suddenly blacked out. Next thing I knew, I woke up in sick bay. What do you think's wrong with me, Admiral?
I don't know, Lee. Neither does Doc. We can't afford to take any more chances with your health. That's why I'm relieving you of all duty until we reach port.
Well, that's not necessary. I'm all right now.
Yeah, you look it. And by the way, that's the third time you've said that. Shut up and follow orders.
Look, I said I don't want to take any more chances.
You think I'm going to have another attack, don't you?
He doesn't know. That's the point. Would Crane fly with a pilot who had a habit of blanking out? He says, what about the mission?
I'm taking the sarcophagus and the flying sub.
Well, what about your orders?
I have an okay to change them. They would have preferred a less spectacular way, but any method's better than none.
Fair point, although he could just call ahead and say, we hit some traffic, we'll be a little late. But that's not the Seaview way. Well, of course, it's Captain Crane. Nelson has to knock him out. There are a few moments while they're taking care of him and Nelson is explaining it all to Morton and Sharkey when you wonder if he's going to remember to disarm the bomb. But eventually he does. We have 7 minutes of runtime left and somebody finally discovers the mummy and is able to report it. See, Chief Sharkey didn't rise to the rank that he has by being dumb. When he realizes his pistol does nothing, he runs. Okay, file that solution under nope.
Admiral! What is it? What's the matter, Chief?
That thing. It's alive, sir.
Get hold of yourself, Chief. Well, now let him talk.
It kept coming after me, sir. It's on its way up here.
Sound general quarters, close all quarters.
Battle stations, battle stations.
He hasn't told them what they're looking for yet. There's one scene in Predator that always sticks in my mind. One of the guys sees it and starts shooting in its direction. The rest of them don't ask questions, they just join him and blow the bejabbers out of the place. They trust that if he says there's something there that needs shooting, shoot it. Same here. He's so flustered he can't spit out the word mummy, but they are ready to fight whatever it is on his say-so. This is how much they trust Chief Sharkey. Or more precisely, this is how much he's earned their trust.
The watertight doors will slow it down.
Believe me, sir, it won't do any good. It'll take an atom bomb to stop it.
Atom bomb. You have an idea there, Chief. No, where is it? How much time do we have?
I don't know, sir, but not much. It just kept coming after me, sir.
They still don't know it's a mummy, though they probably suspect it since that sarcophagus is the only unusual thing on the ship. And they took care of all the usual things that walk around by themselves a long time ago.
Reactor room emergency.
Reactor room, aye.
This is Nelson. Now listen carefully. We're coming right down there. Stand by to channel the entire output of the reactor through the starboard hull cable. All of it.
Aye, sir, standing by.
Ship, break out a coil of number 4 cable and meet me at the door of the reactor room on the double.
When he says all the power, it's impossible to know exactly what he means. Radiation, electrical power, something else. Whatever it is, they'd better hurry up and hook it up. can see this thing is way stronger than they are. There's a perfectly good fire extinguisher hanging right there. It doesn't occur to any of them to hit him over the head with it, or spray him with it, or even look at it. As often as this happens, Captain Crane needs to order more training in fighting monsters. I couldn't tell you what that was or what it did, but if it works, don't knock it. It's dead, again, and Nelson will be able to get it to the conference on time. Let's wrap this up on a philosophical note.
What if I get another attack?
You won't. We've taken care of it.
It must have exerted some sort of control over my mind.
Definitely.
How do you explain it?
You know, Lee, I think there are some things that are better left unexplained, huh?
He should know about that. He's talked to ghosts multiple times. He's his usual verbose self, though. He took 14 words to say, just go with it.
All I gotta do is breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Breathe underwater.
I inhaled a piece of it. God, I can say that. This aired in February, I can say that. Republic. Egypt's present, he should have stuck to retrieving. Good Lord, David, from his music. Admiral Nelson, good grief, David. They still don't know it's a mummy, though. Into overdrive to sip. You know, you're right. That merits a break.